Good morning, dear students. Welcome to another session of Introduction to Data Structures and Algorithms using C programming. So, in the previous session, we started off with the recap of C, in which we discussed what is meant by problems, what is meant by problem solving, what is an algorithm, flowchart, then what is meant by pseudocode. Then we discussed the overview of C programming, that is, what are the features related to C programming, and we discussed regarding one sample program. Then we started off with the discussion related to constants. Then we discussed regarding variables. After this, we discussed what are the different data types which are available in C programming. So, and we discussed lastly regarding the ranges which are present. So here, remember, we discussed regarding the ranges. So up to this point, it is not a problem. You can use the equation 2 raised to n. Say if n is the number of bits. So we can have negative is in the range of 2 raised to n, and the positive number will be in the range of plus 2 raised to n minus 1. So this will be the range of these numbers if it is signed. If it is unsigned, it will be 0 to 2 raised to n minus 1. So if it is positive, if it is only unsigned numbers, it will be in this range. If it is signed numbers, right, it will be in this range. So this representation is, you have to look out for slightly different representations over here. That is, you have to represent it in, you'll be having a representation, say in IEEE format, wherein 1 bit is utilized for sign and 8 bits say will be utilized for representing the exponential value, and remaining bits, so generally there will be around 56 bits in these cases, so they'll be utilized for representing the mantissa part. So that is how they represent these numbers. So this is represented in decimal format. So this is the range what we had discussed in the previous session. So continuing with the previous case, we'll move ahead. So next, which we have to look out is the input and output operations. So when you have when you're using C programming, right, you have come across so many functions which are already present in C programming. So for example, you might have used Scanf, you might have used Printf. So these are the built-in functions which are provided by the C programming, which can be utilized for, say, taking input from the input device and producing and giving the output to the output console. So in this case, we'll be discussing a few of the operations which we will be looking out for using through input and output operations. So here we have the standard input and output functions, so which are actually the printf and the scanf. So we classify them as the standard input and output functions. Then these input output functions are present in this header file, the printf and scanf. So the standard input and output functions which we are seeing over here are present in this header function. So whenever you are writing a program, right, if you don't use this instruction, so if you don't write this, if this is not there, then what happens is it will throw an error that we could not find this function, say because printf is present in this header file. So therefore we should include this header file prior to using any of these built-in functions. So these are the standard input and output functions. So this is a preprocessor directive which indicates to the processor that you have to add this or utilize this header file in order to utilize some of the functions. So here we have a few more input operations. So how I can go ahead if I want to read just a single character, I can make use of a function which we term as getChar. GetChar. So what is its syntax? So you can observe here. You observe the example, then we'll come to this part. So here, if you observe, we have a variable which is a, and it is assigned with whatever this function is getting. So its syntax is you put the variable name on the left hand side, you use the assignment operator, and then you call the function getChar function. So whatever uh, character you type on the keyboard, right, that will be taken and stored in this variable. So similarly, if I want to read input data, so it can be a integer, it can be a float, or it can be any other thing, then how I can read it? Suppose if I want to read a number, say the number is 123. So here you can see that there are more than one character. There are more than one character. So in such cases, what happens is you can use scanf function. So if just single character also, you can utilize the scanf function or getChar. But if it is more than one character, right, I cannot utilize this, but I can use this. Okay. So here, what is the syntax of the scanf? So scanf, remember, again, this is a function, and there are some format specifiers, and you have to give some indicators telling that what kind of data you are accessing. So previously we saw that there are different data types. So you have integer data type, you have character data type, you have float data type. So you should be able to specify all those stuff, whether the number is a character, whether the whether the data what you're entering is a character, whether data what you're entering is a integer or a float. So all that has to be specified. So this is a syntax. You write scanf, you open the bracket, then within double quotes you specify the control string, and then after that you specify the arguments depending on the control string. If there are two parameters present here, if there are only two control elements present here, then there will be two arguments which will be present here. Then you close the brace, close the bracket. So if we look at the example, right, here we have scanf. So here we are specifying what kind of data it is. So remember, there are different this thing. Percent d is integer, percent f is float. Okay, say percent c is a character. So these are the different this thing what we'll be utilizing over here. Now here we have something as percent lf. Percent lf is long float. So long float. So it is the identifier which tells that what kind of data you are accepting, or what kind of data is expected from the user. So that is what you are specifying along with the percent specifier. So here, so in scanf, what we do, we write, say here percent two. So this is a format specifier. This is a format specifier which tells that only two this thing will be considering over there. So then, so this is how you specify the different aspects. Then you're using the ampersand num ampersand sorry, a name ampersand x. So these are different the thing what you are utilizing over there. So these are the input operations in which you have getChar and scanf. Similarly, we have output operations in which I have to write say something over the console, or I should write something or give the output to a output device. So then we can write a single character using put char function, and similarly I can write a formatted output data using the printf. So here what is the syntax again? Since you are just giving this output to the output console, you just specify this function and give whatever parameter you want to write onto the console. So here you have put char a. So a will not be displayed. Whatever content of a is there, right, that will be put on the screen. That single character will be put on the screen. Now similarly, if I have to print say either single character or multiple characters, I can use this one. So again, what is the syntax? You call the function, you specify the control string within the double quotes, and then you put the arguments. So again, and in this one, right, you can write anything in this control string apart from these specifiers what we are having. Suppose printing the odd numbers. So then you can specify printf double quotes printing the odd numbers. So space %d %f something you can specify over there. So this is what you can look out from printf function. So these are the input and output operations in C programming. So let us have a look at one of the input output operations program over here. So here what we have, first we have the preprocessor directive. So I have stdio.h and conio.h, and then the main function which indicates that this is the starting point of the program, which indicates this is the starting point of the program. Then you have declared few of the variables. So age is integer type, then average marks is float type, then you have put a name which is an array of characters. Name which is an array of characters. So it will be defined with the help of the character data type. Then we have clear screen function. So whatever is there on the console screen, right, that will be cleared off. So this function is actually present in conio.h. Then after that, you are using a printf. So here what you're doing, you are just printing some message onto the screen. You're printing some message onto the screen. Here you can observe that there is no any %d, %f present over here. So if just compare this one with this printf. So here you can see that printf under double quotes, you have name colon, you're specifying %yes. So yes is used for printing for the string, for the string parameter. %s is used for reading or displaying the string parameter. So name %yes. So here you are not using any % specification over here. So in printf, it is optional. Optional in the sense, if you use it, you have to specify which variable you will be replacing over here. So here it is just in double quotes, enter student's name. So next you have Scanf. Scanf is reading data from the, say, input device. So here you have to specify what kind of data you will be accepting from the user. So here you are telling the user that please provide the name. So here what is there? You have to use %s when you're reading the string. So in this one, you're specifying ampersand name. So what this will do is whatever data you are entering, right, without any white space. White space is space, tab, enter. So before that, whatever data is there, right, that will be stored in this variable name. It will be stored in this variable name. And remember, we have given only 10 memory locations. So when we deal with strings, right, we should know that if I have say 10 memory locations, right, say 1, 2 up to say 10 memory location, the last location will always be stored with what? A null character. It will be stored with the null character. So you actually have only space for 9 characters to be stored over here. Last one will always be a null characters. Even if you enter say more than 10 characters, it will accept only these 9, and last one will be a null character because you have specified like that here. You have specified that only 10 memory locations will be utilized, or only 10 characters have to be utilized. So again, it is printf wherein you are accepting the age. So again, scanf, and age will be an integer number what we are accepting in this case. So you will be providing the specifier as %d, and you will be specifying it as ampersand age. So in age variable, whatever data is there, that will be stored. Similarly, this one gives us the information that gives the user the information that please provide the average marks. So average marks can be in floating numbers. So you take %f for that and use ampersand average marks. So you are basically telling that you store whatever information is given by the input device in the average marks. So how do you specify that? By providing the address of that variable. So what is this actually telling, right? What this is telling, right? You take whatever data is there, that is whatever user has entered, and store it in the memory location which is given by this, that is address of age. So address of age, so it will be having a memory location in that whatever data is there will be coming over there. So variable age will be having that parameter. So similarly, if I have to print, right, if I have to print it, so what we'll be doing, so here what you're doing is you're just providing the information to the user, telling that you're printing the information of the student. Now this is a kind of escape sequence. Like if you want to specify a new line, on the console, so you have a console screen, so you have accepted some of the data. Now you are on, your cursor is somewhere here. So before starting off, what you're doing is you're just giving a gap over here. You are leaving one line and you start printing whatever is there from next line. So how do I do that? I can do it by using the escape sequences which are given by slash. So we have /n which gives you new line, and /t which gives you a tab, this thing that is from this cursor. The cursor will be moved up to this point, and then it will start printing. So whenever you're using slash, right, so you should be careful. Suppose you have to use it in your information over here. So what you can do is, if I have to print this also, if I have to print this information, suppose I have information that some new number. Along with this, say if I put slash here, what happens is this will be considered as a new line. So if you want to print this also, right, then you use another slash. So backslashes, two backslashes will give an indication that next one is a printable character. You have to print that. So after that, don't consider this one. So if this is getting printed, right, this all will be printed on the screen. So it will be coming as slash new on the screen. Suppose if I don't do that, what will happen is, if I want to print this one, say it is in the double quotes printf. So what will happen is this will be considered as a new line. So this will be gap. So after that, this n character is gone. So only EW will be printed. EW will be printed. So you should be careful when you're using the escape sequences. Okay. So here we have /n the student details, and then /n. So again, you are providing an escape sequence. This is a new line information. So on new line, what will be printed? You'll be printing the name. So what is the name? Where is the name present? Name is present in this variable. So if I use this variable name, right, this is a array of characters. So if I just specify, I have to use the specifier %s, and then I'll be giving the variable name over here. So whatever information is present in this one, right, will be replaced at this location on the screen. So how this will be appearing is, it will be appearing as name colon, and whatever information is there will be present over here. Say it might be, say something as RG. So it will be coming over here. So next you have printf /n. Again, a new line will be taken. New line will be taken, and age, this will be printed. And what you're printing, you're printing an integer. So you have to use a specifier %d. And what is which variable is holding that information? Age is holding that information. So you specify the variable over here. So the age, whatever value is present in this variable, right, that will be replaced in this %d specifier, and that will be displayed. So similarly here we will be having this information. Now what does this point 2 imply? This point 2 implies that generally there are 6 places if you don't specify. So whenever you have a floating point number received, right, you'll be having after decimal points in C programming, right, you have 6 digits. You'll be having 6 digits in its storage after decimal point. So I just want to print only these two numbers. Whatever these numbers are there, only these two numbers. So in that case, I have to specify the format specifier as .2. So here you can see that average marks, it is 75.45. Again, still further some numbers are there, but because of this format specifier, only two numbers are being displayed after the format specifier. So this is a program which is related to the input output operations. So next we'll discuss regarding operators and expressions. So already all of you perform mathematical operations. Say you write something as a plus b, say, and you store it in another variable, say another parameter, say c. So here this a plus b is an expression. A plus b is an expression, and this expression has to be evaluated in order to know what is the value of c. So here what is the operator you are using? The operator is this plus symbol, this plus sign which is there. This is the operator, and these are what? These are the variables on which you are operating. So instead of variables, what we specify? We specify them as the operands. We specify them as the operands. So this is a operand. This is what? This is a operator, and this overall, this thing is the expression. This overall representation which is there is the expression. So here an example is provided. We can observe here the what they have specified. It is a into b plus c. So here this is an expression. This is an expression. A into b plus 3 is an expression. So what are the operands which are present in this expression? It is these two parameters, a and b, and 3 is also a operand over here. So that is what is specified over here. So what are the operators which are used in this operation or in this expression? It is the into symbol, that is a star symbol what we are representing, and the plus symbol. So whenever an expression is given, we have operators and operands present together, which will help me evaluate this overall expression. So here operand, it can be a constant value or a variable. So a and b is a variable what we are considering, and 3 is the constant parameter what we have taken in this in this example. So operand can be a constant or it can be a variable. Now operands are the signs which we utilize to perform the overall operation. That is these operators, right, basically operate on these operands in order to evaluate the overall expression. In order to evaluate the overall expression. So these operators can be arithmetic in its nature. So this is an arithmetic representation. And when we consider the other aspect, right, we can have logical operations also performed on the variables. Now, for example, if we write A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 10. Now, logically, I'll ask you that just compare whether A and B are equal. So that is the logical operation what you have to perform using the operators. So in C programming, how we write it? We write it as whether A is equal to B. So this double equal to sign which is there is a logical operator. So we can perform logical operations in these cases. So using these operators, we can perform either arithmetic operations or logical operations. Then one of the important things which is present is you have different kinds of operators which can be unary type, which can be binary type, or which can be ternary type. So what does these imply? So first one, if we consider, say unary operators operate on single operand. There will be just a single operand. Say if A is a operand, it operates only on a single operand. It requires only single operand to perform its operation. Now binary, the name itself tells, it requires two operands. Say for example A and B, it requires two operands. Ternary, it operates on total three operands. In C programming, you have only one ternary operator, so that we'll be checking in later. That is called as conditional operator. So you have unary operators, you have binary operators, you have ternary operators. So what does these imply when we go further, right? When we discuss further, that time we'll come to know what are these aspects. So what do you mean by a single operand? What do you mean by two operands? What do you mean by three operands? And how this classification is actually happening. Okay. So these are just a few various type of operators which we have in C programming. We can have arithmetic operators, we can have bitwise operators, we have increment and decrement operators, relational operators, conditional, logical, and some special operators, and assignment operators. So when we move further, right, we'll be discussing each of these things. So first one, we have the arithmetic operators. So in this arithmetic operators, the name already few of them you have already utilized in your mathematical operations. So in C programming, we have the addition operator, we have the subtraction operator, we have the multiplication operator, we have the division operator. This one is called the modulo operator. So what are the uses of this? So here we can addition is used to obtain the result of adding two numbers. That is one parameter, that is A plus B. So what is the result? If A is equal to 10, B is equal to 5, A plus B. Plus is the operator what you're using. It gives us the addition. It gives us the sum of this operation or expression. Now, what is the other purpose of this? We can utilize this utilize this symbol or operator to represent whether the number is positive or not. So by default, any of the number when you consider, we can just specify that it is a plus A. So here A is a positive number what we are considering. So it is plus A. And now, here this plus symbol is used to represent the positive operand. Similarly, negative sign which is there, we utilize this to obtain the difference between the operands. So here we can see that this one and this one, we can see that they are utilizing two operands over here, two operands to get the result. So it is the plus and minus symbol are what? They are binary operators. But here, if we just observe here, and the negative sign what we have, we can utilize that to represent the negative operand. So here we can observe that it is representing a negative number, but what, how many operands you are using? You are just using one operand over here and even one operand over here. So this is, since only one operand is being utilized along with this operator, right? We classify these two operators as unary also. Therefore, plus and minus symbols which are there, these operators are unary operators or binary operators depending on how it is being utilized. So next one is multiplication to obtain the result of multiplication, and here you require two operands. So no matter whether you perform A into A, here also you are using two operands only. Okay, if it is the same operand also, it is not a problem, but you are using it to obtain the result of this multiplication. So next we have division. Again, this requires two operators, which gives us the result of division, dividing a number by the other number. Last one is gives us the remainder part of a division. So when we do division, right, it will give us the remainder. So here again we can see that these three operators which we are discussing, they require two operands. So if I perform A by A, here also it is requiring two operands. The result of this one will always be 1. So here we are just representing A modulo B, which gives us the remainder. So 10 divided by 5, its quotient is 2, its remainder is 0. Okay. So these are the arithmetic operators which we come across in C programming. So in coming session, right, we'll start off with the discussion of the remaining operators, and we'll just check out the rest of the part. Okay, this is all for today. We'll again start a class tomorrow, and we'll go ahead with the further discussion. Okay, thank you.